Is the new Natasha Denona Golden Collection new enough? Well, you'll find out today as we look at these golden hues throughout this new golden collection from Natasha Denona with me, Rebecca. I am a 20-year plus, actually, veteran of fashion and beauty journalism. I have worked with some of the biggest names in the industry, and I have created Not Fit for Print Beauty here on YouTube as a sort of little digital beauty magazine for you to flip through every day or so here on YouTube. I'm so happy to have you here. So gather around, children. Many moons ago, Natasha Denona created the gold palette. It was when she still had a lot of these bigger palettes, and oh, we loved it. But many seasons ago, it disappeared. It just kind of aged itself out. And if you don't have it, you always probably heard tale of it, or maybe tried to get it on like Mercari or eBay or something. And those of us that have it, well, it's probably getting a little old. Mine looks fine, but maybe it's getting a little old. So Natasha Denona had a lot of calls to replace it with something. A lot of people missed it. They wanted it still produced. So what she did was kind of a newer version of it. She calls it an elevated version with 15 shades. It's a little smaller because, you know, Natasha Denona found that this midi size, which is, you know, a little bit smaller, as you see. This midi size was a little better, including in price. Her midis are now $69. So this is her new elevated 15 shade golden palette. It has a whole collection that I'm going to show you that goes with it, and we'll compare. This is the new $69 version of the gold palette. It's called the golden palette. It's got 15 shades, new and existing, 7 mattes in cream and pressed powder, 5 golden or vivid brass metallics. She's got a nude sparkling foiled shade, a chroma crystal topper, and a golden wet effect shade. We are going to get through the shades, the new and the repeat, the comparisons, and we also are going to look at the highlighter palette and the lip gloss, and we're going to try to do it as efficiently and effectively as possible. But it is very good to have you here. I noticed on my Facebook page, we do have a Facebook discussion community group that you can access down below, as well as a membership here on YouTube led by me with weekly lives. We'd love to see you there. All of this information will be down below. And before we get started, let me say or remind you that if you use the code REBECCACRINGEAN, that's my first and last name as one word, that will be down below as well, you will get 15% off on anything that you buy at natashadenona.com. So don't forget that. I will remind you, and it will be printed below. Okay, so this is the new elevated, slightly smaller version of the gold palette, and don't worry, we will compare them. Of those 15 shades, 8 are repeats from this palette, and then there's one that's a repeat from the Star palette. So we're going to talk about all that. Here we go. I'll just kind of show you what is from this gold palette here. We have a repeat right here that's from the gold palette. We have a repeat right here that's from the gold palette. We have 2 repeats right here, this one that my finger is on and this one, both from the gold palette. This entire row down here, starting with Aria, these are all from gold palette, Star palette, that's Flesh. And then these 3 here, the final 2 right here, these 2, Sandstone and Alchemist, are repeats from the gold palette. She likes that Flesh shade, and that, like I said, was in the Star palette, and you know, you'll see that. I think that's been somewhere else too, if I'm not mistaken. So we have 9 repeats. The rest are brand new shades. What Natasha Denona said she did is she took this original gold palette and she replaced these kind of teal shades that are in this with these kind of sandy brown shades. She felt it was an updated version and it was time for it. So it could be entirely new to you. If you're a completionist like I am, slash hoarder, but we'll say completionist to be a little bit nicer about myself, then you'll want this. They might be new to you, and certainly, as so many people have said to me throughout the years, hey, you know, stuff gets old and it's kind of, you know, probably run its course anyway, so maybe it's time for that. The case and the palette itself are absolutely gorgeous. You have that kind of textured A little different than the original packaging and certainly smaller. But it doesn't really get in the way of storage. It's got that like ripple effect, but it doesn't really get in the way of storage. It is quite beautiful. And I'm going to show you some swatches and some comparison swatches as well in just a moment. We also have our gold highlighter trio palette here. This one is $55. This has 3 highlighter shades that can be used on cheeks, lips, and eyes. We're going to try it on the cheeks today. This is a new formula. It is a hybrid, kind of a gummy gel powder with extra high foiled finish and can be put on with fingers. You hear that? With fingers or a brush. That's a joke because so many people hate when I use my hands on my face, but this could be put on with either. Natasha gave me permission. I want to try this on lips. We're not going to put it on eyes though, because you'll see in the swatches, gosh, it's really similar to the shades. I mean, look, just holding them up together, it's indeed very, very similar. Don't you think? Okay, and then last but not least, or last but maybe least, to be totally honest with you, is the Golden Glimmer Gloss. This is $29. It's a clear oil gloss, and a lot of people have already DM'd me. Does it have a tingling? It does. It's very slight, but it's there. If you are bothered by even the slightest tingling, it is there. Let's put up some ingredients for those of you who are ingredient junkies. I'm not, but a lot of people are. Here, freeze this. This is the ingredients for the eyeshadow palette, the golden eyeshadow palette. So go ahead and freeze that and enlarge it if you need to. And then I'm going to put up the ingredients here to the golden highlighter trio. Again, please freeze and enlarge if you need to. And the golden glimmer gloss. Again, please freeze if you need to. I am not an ingredient junkie, but I do appreciate it being explained to me. What I mean by that is I'm a bit of a lazy ingredient person. I like it when someone goes, you know, that tingles on your lips because it has blah, blah, blah. But I don't know that I go searching for it. Laziness, I admit, but I wanted to put those up for you. Suggestion from community member, channel member, Lisa P. Her channel does all sorts of good stuff with ingredients, and I think it's a great suggestion. But this one does have a little bit of a tingle. By the way, while we're talking about stuff up on the screen, Mel by Grace was lovely enough to request that I say where the palettes are made and all of that good stuff. That is indeed on the screen. I just don't say it because there's so much to say. So do check whenever I introduce these products, that info will have been on the screen for you. So you can I try to get it all in there. It's hard though, you know. All right, so let's go to some swatches, and then I really want to play with this. And I'm wearing that Golden Glimmer gloss right now. The reason I said last but maybe actually least is it does seem like a kind of like, oh, we need something to go with it on the lips, you know. But I thought maybe we would go ahead and test this Golden Highlight Trio out on the lips. I'll take this off, and then we can, you know, look at it. Let's look at some swatches though, if you don't mind, in 2 different lightings. Let's start with the way it is laid out in the palette. Let's go ahead and start with our golden eyeshadow palette. On the left, here it is first in studio lighting. All the way towards the right, there is the highlighter palette as well with it. That's in studio lighting. Where is the lip oil? You couldn't see it, so I didn't put it on until we took it outside. So take a look at that there, and you will see in the swatches, boy, that highlighter palette is very similar in shade anyway. Not in texture, but in shade. All right, and let's see it better, this time including the gloss, outside in the warm California sunshine. Here it is, and you can see that. You can see it a lot better, and I think you'll be able to see the gloss there shimmering off my arm. If you're going to save 19 bucks, the gloss is the least impressive, but we'll see if we like it over the highlighter when I put that on my lips. What I'm going to do now is I just want to show you this kind of bare on the lips. I'm going to take it off now so that when we play around, we can actually put it on over the highlighter palette and see if we like it or if it's kind of too editorial and crazy, which is my guess. But we're going to see. Make sure that you are subscribed. Please don't forget that you can get 15% off at NatashaDenona.com by using code REBECCACRINGEAN at checkout. It's down below too. And before I forget, I do want to put some swatch comparisons up here. Oh, if my head weren't attached, it would just roll down the street. Let's take a look at our brand new golden palette. And it's going to be above the old gold palette. It rhymes. The old gold palette. So there we go. Take a look at that there. See what you think. A lot of people have asked me if the formulas feel the same. You know, they kind of do. They do to me, but you have to remember the gold palette I have is, you know, I got it when it was released. So that's a while ago. You know, so things aren't going to feel exact. It's not a fair comparison, I don't think. But let's play around with the new ones and see what we think. And I'm going to go take off this gloss right now. Stay right there. All right, let's play around with these shades and get them on the face. You know, with something like this, I want to start here and try this on the lips. I took off the lip oil. Hey, word to the wise, just public service announcement. When you got one of these that can be feeling a little prickly, don't like put it on your makeup eraser that you're going to later take eye makeup off with or anything. I have made the mistake. It burns. just telling you. Didn't make that mistake this time. Okay, I want to kind of just swirl this around and just kind of, I don't really have a blush on, but I just want to, I mean, really I need to, that's it swirled around. Let me do it again a little darker. And I am using a massive brush, which is like way too much highlight, but that's not my intent here, guys. I told you, I'm an editor, not a makeup artist. I'll leave the artistry to you. I just want to show you how it performs, and that's just kind of the look of it all swirled together. But let me just get a little smaller brush here, and let's just see these individual shades on the face. And you can use your hands. In fact, I bet it would work better. What Natasha Denona says in her suggestion on her website is, you know, use the fingers if you really want it very blingy. There they are, swirled together with a brush. Let's just make a fool out of me here and just see what they look like individually. Not where I recommend placing highlighter. Just saying. This is for demonstration purposes only. Whoa! We just kind of got a cheek swatch going there. Yeah, so, you know, this whole side of my face, let me just kind of do this, is going to be super duper blingy because I used my fingers. And this side is a little bit more of a traditional application, but swirling it and with a fluffier brush. So you got a few different ways you can do this. And what if, just what if, for fun, just stay with me here. What if I took this, the deepest shade here, and just kind of patted it on the lips. You know I've been dying to do this, right? And then put this little oil. You saw the oil in the last scene, just alone. And it's going to get the dough foot all dirty, which I kind of hate, but yeah, it did get the dough foot all dirty. But I'm not sure that on its own, it's got enough oomph to matter. So, you know, look away from my complexion products, which I've, you know, kind of ruined by just putting this stuff all over it. But I just wanted you to see how blingy it would be. And on the lips, what's the taste? So, teeny bit of prickle. Taste is like a little bit like passion fruit. I don't find it pleasant. It's got that kind of sour, passion fruity. Yeah. I'm not a fan of this. You don't need this. You need whatever you want to get yourself, but you know what I mean. This is pretty, but I actually already prefer it. Oh, we lost a shade. Please wait while I do some shade recovery. Ooh, the Natasha Denona palette is throwing shade. So that needs a little bit of Gorilla Glue. Watch for that. But I do like it when you swirl it all around and use a fluffy brush. I think that's really pretty, but kind of individually putting it on, you got to really want to show off. But I do think that's really pretty, and that packaging is lovely. Okay, let's create some eye looks here. Raise your hand, or could you sound off in comments, who misses the teal? I liked little pops of teal in the old gold, but maybe that's just me. Okay. I am going to create two different looks here. I brought out some Sonia G brushes. Yesterday we demonstrated the Wayne Goss synthetic brushes, and they would be lovely with this, but I just washed them. So they're just kind of drying off after being in the bath. Okay, let's go ahead and do two different looks. And I'm going to start right here. I'll put the shades on the screen. I'd like to really try to work with mostly the new shades, but I'm just haphazardly going through here. And again, you know, those of us that have the older palette, it's probably time to replace it. And if you've never had the gold palette, well, it's new to you. So let's continue with this. I'm going to go down the line here. Now, let me tell you a little something about Natasha Denona in case you don't know. I don't know if everybody knows this. I thought they would, but maybe not. And that is that if you get lost in a bigger palette, there's a few things you can do. This golden palette really lends itself to one and done looks. That's too easy for this video, so I'm not going to do that. But if you do want to do a more complete eye look, Natasha Denona is very famous for putting her shadows in groups. You don't have to, but in groups that make it easier. So for instance, I use this one and then this one, and it would go well with this one. You can work in a line, you can work this way, you can work in quadrants. She makes sure that is absolutely intentional to position these, and it's a great way to start. So with Natasha Denona, any of the larger palettes or any of the older ones that you buy new, that's how you can kind of get yourself in the right perspective, is by doing that. And I will do exactly that actually, because that does look pretty together, and just go down the line here and then put that into the inner corner. And what a beautiful eye look. I certainly have no complaints. Now again, just to bring this back up from last time, you guys said to me, a lot of you in DMs, hey, what about the formula? Is it different? I'm not noticing it. And I am kind of a formula geek, and I'm not noticing it, but it is not, these age, it is not apples to apples, so I'm not going to speak to that, guys. But you can certainly say what you think down below. I love that. So there's one eye look done very quickly in my own inimitable way with one brush, because I hate brush laundry. But let's get a clean brush and let's do something else on this eye. Let's go a little bit darker even. So I'm going to go into this one here, and maybe we'll jump around for this one. And let me start first in the crease. This is a pretty, maybe this is updated. Maybe the teal is a little kind of out of sync with what people would wear today, especially with so many one and done looks that are popular. Isn't that pretty right there? Okay, and then sticking with that same brush, I'm going to go into that even darker shade down there and just kind of in there. Let's put a little bit of that in the crease too. Well, that's pretty. Okay, and then let's switch again. One of the newer Sonia G brushes. Go here and up in there. And this leaves a little area right there that I'll use my finger and go in, with this shade, let's go in with that one right there, and just stick that right there in the middle and on the eyelashes a little bit, but that will come off. What do you think? I think I want to blend it a bit more, but I kind of like it. Very different looks, although some would say very similar. And I think that is why I said I was missing the teal, because it was something that set the shades apart. But I do think that Natasha Denona has kind of updated these in a way to take into account the fact that people like these that kind of blend together and make a sort of one and done look. Even if you want to do that by kind of going in an ombre, lightest to deepest, or something like that, it will be more of the moment. What about, since we've done these two looks and you've seen them, I could do a million looks and they're all going to look similar. It's golden brown shades, guys. But, I am enjoying this. Something about this, I keep coming back to it. It intrigues me. It's that new formula. It's kind of fun. What if I took a brush and just put this over the top? Because it's similar. I mean, let's just go for it, because I just like the fact that it's kind of a new formula. Like, to me, I'm going to be outlandish and say something here. Like, to me, get this. Blend it together with a fluffy brush and put it over your blush as a blush topper, and then put this on your eyes as a one and done. Revolutionary statement. I don't know, though. Maybe it's just because, I have the gold and we have gold shades, and I hear a lot of people. If you're someone that's just putting that over it, I know it blanketed it out. Please remember, this isn't a tutorial. We're just testing out the formulas. I'm seeing if you'll like them, okay? That is my goal here. It's like a magazine article testing out formulas. That's what I do here. Yeah. For those of you in my community that have said, oh, I don't know, I have a lot of browns, I have a lot of golds, I kind of still use my old Natasha gold palette, pick this up. It's actually quite pretty on the lips. It doesn't have to have this over it. But that's pretty. And look, I like it on the eyes. I just overshadow what we already did. And I like it with a, pardon me, it's throwing shade again. And I like it with a fluffy brush all over the face. Have your Gorilla Glue handy, I guess. It's got a little chunk out of it now. It's a job hazard. So yeah, that's my recommendation. If you don't want the larger palette, which I actually quite like, and if you want one and done shades, it's got some beautiful ones. But if you're like, I don't know, then get the highlight palette. It's the best part of it to me. Tell me if I'm wrong. Disagree with me all you want. I love Natasha Denona, by the way. All of this is said with love. She's so innovative and interesting, and she does not care what anyone thinks. And I absolutely admire everything about that woman. But I'm just saying to you, I think that's the best book. So let me know what you think. I mean, I kind of want to open that up to hearing what the community says. Do not forget to use REBECCACRINGEAN as one word. It will be down below as well to save 15% on these items or any that you purchase on NatashaDenona.com. And let me know your thoughts down below. Please do not forget to subscribe and like and share. And I look forward to seeing all of you in the next video. Let me know what comparisons you need over on Instagram, please. That's where I do them. Ask me here, ask me on Insta. Bye, guys.